You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello and welcome to this episode of Unstoppable Actors, in which we are going to be deep diving into the 3 signs you are forcing emotions in scenes. I'm really excited to talk to you about this because my aim is to help you get your next performance to being your best performance ever. One that exudes sincerity, honesty, and authenticity and genuine emotion that your audience feels and is captivated by. I used to force emotions back in the early days before I learnt method acting, and it would mean that I gave very hit and miss, inconsistent performances, and I don't want that for you. Because at this stage of your career, as you are getting started with your acting dreams and you are building up your actor's CV, I want people to look at you and go, wow, how have I never heard of this actor before? They're incredible. Let's get them in our production. Because when you're giving sincere, honest, genuine performances, you build your acting career up quicker than when you're giving fake performances, because people want you in their productions. Now, before I dive into it, have you taken the What Type of Actor Are You quiz? This is such an insightful quiz because it will share with you not what your casting type is, but what your performance type is. You answer a few questions which take you around 2 to 3 minutes, and then you get a detailed feedback sheet at the end which tells you which type of actor you are, what your strengths currently are, so you can do more of that, and what your blind spots are with your acting. And then it shares with you which techniques to use and what you need to be doing to get your performances to be consistently good and truthful every single time you pick up a character. You can go and take that quiz at bit.ly/acting type. That is bit.ly/acting type, or I've left the link in the episode description for you. So as I've shared with you, I was the type of actor who used to force emotions in scenes. And after I'd taken method acting training and embedded some very powerful exercises into my toolkit as an actor, I made the connection, which I'd not made before in the early days, that actually the reason I had been forcing emotions in scenes is because in day-to-day life, I'm really connected to my emotions and I feel things deeply and I'm not afraid of emotional vulnerability. But what that meant is because I feel things quite deeply in my personal life, I went into scenes and characters thinking I had to give more emotionally, not knowing that the level that I was at in my personal life was already enough. And you might be quite similar to me. You might feel emotions quite deeply in your day-to-day life. You might not have any problem with emotional vulnerability. You might be very, very connected to them. And that is such a blessing. But it is also a curse when it comes to scenes because we think we have to give more. And that's where the forcing comes from. And then I started to notice this in the actors I was training as well. The ones that were very connected to their emotions in their personal life were also coming in with this idea that they needed to do more in scenes, and they were forcing emotions as well. And so one of the things I want to share with you before I get into those 3 signs is that whatever happens in our personal life, whoever we are, that's the starting point for us as actors. So whatever goes on in our personal life, the way we navigate our personal life, will usually show up in our acting. And this is why it is so important that we must get training to ensure that we are able to do every character and their unique experiences justice. Because we don't want to go into scenes giving more than we need to, because it drains our energy, it doesn't help us give our best performances, and it can, over time, erode our confidence. We can start to question whether we're good enough, and we want to avoid that. So, as I said, I then took method acting training and retrained, and it became really apparent to me that the feedback that I'd got previously around doing too much and needing to rein things back made sense. And it was no longer a criticism of me as an actor. It was just I needed to move the needle ever so slightly. So here are the 3 signs that you're forcing emotions in scenes. The first one is that you are focusing solely on the emotion before the scene even begins. The second sign is that the emotion is very big and it can end up on one level. And the third sign is that you've received feedback that you need to rein it in. So what do we need to do instead? So you need to replace focusing solely on the emotion with focusing on the character's intention. That's really important because emotions are a byproduct of intentions either being met or not met. You then need to replace the emotion being very, very big with active listening. Actively listening to your scene partner in the scene, the tone, their body language, not just the words that they're saying. And then to help with the feedback of needing to rein it in, a really good thing that you can do that will not cost you anything is spend as much time as you can people watching, so you can see that people don't just go all in with emotions in a big way. And actually humans don't try and force emotions out. We actually try and hide them. Now, if you want the science on this, and this is really, really interesting, the nervous system cannot hold the intensity of an emotion at the height of it for longer than 90 seconds. When that 90 seconds or thereabouts is up, the feeling will then begin to evolve into other emotions. And this is because of the chemical changes that are happening in the nervous system. Now, you don't need to know the science behind any of this. You don't even need to go and look this up. All you need to remember when you're trying to play the emotion really big, or you're trying to connect to it, or you're trying to play it all out in a scene, is that 90 seconds is around the maximum time that you can hold on to an emotion. The emotion will stay at its height for only 90 seconds. And therefore, if the scene is a few minutes long, or it's a really long monologue that takes 5 minutes, holding on to the emotion throughout is not going to be authentic, and that's not going to be your best performance. So if you are forcing emotions, like I used to, you do need to bring some logic into the preparation of your performances, which is why I've just shared this with you. But what you actually need to do is relax before your scenes, rather than trying to work yourself up into an emotional frenzy. And one of the easiest ways you can do this is with the step out exercise. And the step out exercise focuses on our breathing, touch, and stretching, because that puts us into a grounded, relaxed state where we can access our imagination nice and easily, and where the emotions will come out naturally and genuinely. If you are forcing emotions in scenes, and what I'm saying with you is resonating and you can relate to this, and you've heard that you need to rein it in, and you know that you get stuck on one level with emotions, or you play them really, really big, or you know that you focus solely on the emotions before scenes begin, it is more than likely that you are a heart actor, which is what I am. And I had to unlearn all of these habits that come with being a heart actor, which thankfully was super easy with method acting. And I learned so many incredible exercises that have helped me stop forcing emotions in scenes. Now, the reason I'm sharing that with you is because this is what the What Type of Actor Are You quiz will help you understand. It will help you understand whether you are a heart actor or not. So I would highly encourage you to go and get absolute confirmation on whether you are a heart actor by taking this quiz, because it goes into a lot of detail, more than what I can offer you in this podcast episode. And it will give you some detailed feedback on what you can be doing beyond what I've shared with you here to keep improving your performances. So the link to go and take that quiz is bit.ly/acting type. That's bit.ly/acting type. I've also left the link in the episode description underneath where you've pressed play. I really hope you've taken something from this episode, and I hope you're going to apply what I've taught you in this episode in your next performance. And I will see you again soon.